So this is Cheryl Miller, the sister of Reggie Miller, and in the conversation for one of the GOATs of female basketball. Obviously, her time was prior to, it was prior to, the WNBA. It was prior to real professional women's basketball. But up until that point, she is still seen as one of the GOATs. Look, I can't pretend to be that I was alive then. But from 1982 to 1986, she averaged 23.6 points a game in college for USC. Two-time NCAA champion, three-time Naismith Player of the Year. And for Team USA, she won an Olympics, she won a Pan Am Games, she won a silver in the World Championships, also won a gold in whatever the Goodwill Games is, and won a gold in the Jones Cup. Either way, look, she's one of the all-time greats. She is one of the greatest ever. And her talking about Caitlin Clark, you can see there's no... Because, look, she doesn't have... Her records aren't there to be broken. She's just... Again, she's just one of the GOATs. And she's just there talking about Caitlin Clark. And you can tell... you can tell that this is someone who's just wow. Who's just wow. Just talking about how good she is. She's someone that's completely secure in her legacy. Because at the end of the day, I think Cheryl Miller probably knows that people are either going to be think she's the GOAT or not know who she is. There's probably not really much of an in-between for Cheryl Miller. But at the same time, it is one of those interesting things where it's a big what if the WNBA was around her time. There's so many players from around that era where there'd be a big what if to see if the league was there.
There are a lot of shooters out there.
Right.
There are shooters that are natural, shooters who work on their game, shooters who need several screens to get open. You can set a screen for Caitlin. Caitlin don't need a screen. Caitlin's got great handles. The one thing that I don't think people really appreciate about that young lady's game, she can pass the ball.
She can't pass. She got great assists.
The bounce
pass is powerful,
which is almost non-existent in the game.
And obviously, I think this is a while ago. I think it's a while ago because I think I can see a March Madness tournament there behind her. And the one thing that hasn't really translated is that the shot creation without the screen has not really translated. That's kind of one thing. Caitlin Clark, I think she's going to figure it out. Look, she is a complete psycho as far as psycho in a good way. She is that competitive psycho that if there's a weakness in her game, the first chance she gets, she's going to make up for it. So I would be shocked if Caitlin Clark does not develop so much of her weaknesses, especially because these were weaknesses that didn't get exposed in college. So I doubt there's a situation where she comes back next season like that. But one of the biggest things that Cheryl Miller said, one of the biggest things, and I'm listening to this, and it's the more what she said, and the more I'm thinking about it, and I'm oh God, she's right. How few bounce passes are thrown to WNBA? It is a pass where it's the passes that she makes are, you can very clear she plays a different game. And that's the thing with a lot of these younger players. A lot of these younger players, they play a different game to the vets. And look, she's turned the ball over a lot. She's going to turn the ball over a lot. That doesn't make much of a difference, as you can see. WNBA and the NBA, some of the best passes of all time are in the top turnover lists. And then, again, just some of the most ball-dominant players. But that's one thing that I'm she's right. She's right. Obviously, you've got your great passers having their arsenal, your Chelsea Grays, again, Sabrina to an extent, but no one like Caitlin. No one's splitting those double teams like Caitlin. Nobody's hitting cutters with bounce passes. Nobody's throwing those passes on the break like Caitlin is. And that's one of the reasons why her teammates are pretty bad at catching low passes. And they're going to get better. And that's one of the things that I think is going to happen as rookies come in, is that they're playing a new game. These rookies are playing a new game. And I think that's one of the things is as much as we want to talk about how Angel Reese is the best version of what the WNBA used to be, the fact that she just has better instincts than everybody else. She played a quicker game. And you're going to see this in rookies now, is that the more the game adapts, the more the old guard, I think, are going to struggle, and the more you're going to see more young players coming through. Especially, if you've seen this big from Francis Malonga, who's going to be 18 in the Olympics, playing for a genuinely good France team. She's playing about 15 minutes, 6'6" center, is 18, by the way, and going to be eligible for next year's draft at 19 because of the whole international rule. So she could play, by her 3rd year in the WNBA, she's effectively going to be a rookie because she'll be the same age as rookies having to do college. If you've seen her play, the likes of Anissa Morrow, Paige Beckers is not that much less talented than Caitlin Clark. I think Paige Beckers has less weaknesses in her game than Caitlin Clark does. It's just Caitlin Clark's strengths are higher than... I think Caitlin Clark's a much better feel for the game. I think her strengths are better and her motor's better than Paige Beckers, and also hasn't picked up 2 season-ending injuries. But skill-wise and just complete skill set, Paige Beckers has probably a more complete skill set than Caitlin Clark. But you can even see when, like, and this is like before all the just crazy, like, Cheryl Miller is not going to give her opinion on Clark based on any crazy bias. Just like pre-2023 championship game, you heard like Taurasi and Sue Bird talking about Caitlin Clark just in awe. Like, they were just like, they were just asking Paige Beckers, and they're like, how do we stop her? How the hell do you stop her? And Paige Beckers basically was just like, well, you can't, but you got to just pray that she either doesn't pass or doesn't. You got to just make her into a passer or a shooter. It's like, if you let her do both, it's over. But it's like, you can't stop her. Paige Beckers effectively just said, yeah, you just can't. And that's the thing with the WNBA is, like, they stopped her scoring, but they realized, yeah, you just can't stop Caitlin Clark, can you? And Cheryl Miller's on the money. She was on the money during the tournament when everyone was just talking about the shooting. And I think that's why a lot of the real smart basketball people were like, the passing is what's going to translate. And the worst part is that of all people, Christy Sides was the one who said that. Christy Sides said that and just wasn't smart enough to realize how to use that to her advantage. But yeah, you could see it. Even like Taurasi, Sue Bird, they were talking about the passing more so than anything. Cheryl Miller's after talking about the passing. Like, this is no Sheryl Swoopes situation. This is no, like, reality is coming. And I know, again, Taurasi has given Caitlin Clark enough praise, but, like, it was just the phrase reality is coming. It was just that one line that really threw it off. But Sheryl Swoopes was straight up hating with Caitlin Clark. Cheryl Reeves not done that. Heck, even with, like, Lexi Brown. Lexi Brown had been talking so much crap about Caitlin Clark. And then afterwards, she's just like, after playing Caitlin Clark twice, she's just like, meh, I got it. She's just the best. She's the first name in our scouting report, and she gave us 30. Like, nah, she's the best rookie. Like, that is the funniest part of it all. Some of the biggest Caitlin Clark haters, like Alexi Brown, after playing against her, are like, oh no, she is actually that good. But anyway, that is the video. Again, Cheryl Miller, one of the GOATs, talking about Caitlin Clark. Obviously, this is a couple of months old and it's being brought up now, but this is more so a lot of these clips are being brought back up because a lot of people, what they said around this time, they were either so far wrong or on the money like Cheryl Reeve was.